Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. I am unknowingly about to do the DLC, the first DLC for Mass Effect 3, From Ashes. I didn't realize that this planet was From Ashes at the time, but hey, why not? So I'm using the Valiant and the Phalanx pistol. I'm going more for a ranged build this time around, or at least a scoped ranged build. I was using the Grawl Spike Thrower, which doesn't have a scope, so I was getting a little tired of that. Let's try something else. I am forced to use Liara for this mission. This mission takes place on Eden Prime, by the way. And we will be facing Cerberus yet again. I don't die too much, I die a few times. I would say they were also pretty stupid deaths on my part, things that could have been avoided. But you hopefully will be able to learn from my mistakes. I also finally realized that I really should be putting points in Sabotage, because it is very useful against turrets, and without an improvement in duration, it just lasts too short a period of time. So I'm going to save up points here and spec into Singularity. I also have to say that Bubble Stasis with the Bubble improvement and maxed out is it's overpowered. I'm not even going to say borderline overpowered. It's overpowered. That stuff is way too good. Way too cheap, cheesy. It's overpowered. It's extremely fun. Extremely fun. In fact, I'd probably say it's my favorite skill in the entire game that I've seen so far, but so cheesy. And you'll see that being exploited a little later in a combat, and here we are on Eden Prime. If you remember from Mass Effect 1, it certainly looks a lot less dark and gloomy this time around. Just quick bind there. And yes, we will also be picking up the Prothean party member at the end of this mission, though I have not used him yet. When I make these videos, I usually just complete a mission, and then I go and edit the video and do the VO and render it and whatever. So I have not actually used him yet at the time of this commentary. I am definitely looking forward to it, and I'm definitely looking forward to the weapon that you get. It's some sort of, it's like the collector beam rifle from the previous game, the particle beam, where you just hold it down and slowly damage enemies. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and to seeing what ability the Prothean actually has. I still am not sure if there are bonus skills in this game. I certainly hope they are. I will be very disappointed if there are not, because a lot of the skills that party members use, I actually find more fun than some of the signatures of the different classes. Like, for example, I think Stasis is way more fun than Singularity, personally, for my playstyle. I'm hesitant to use it because it's so overpowered, but so let's skip that plot sequence, and here we have some Cerberus. So we are using the Valiant. It is a 3-shot sniper rifle, 3-shot in the clip. It does decent damage, though not quite what I'd like, especially against armored opponents. Not too bad once the armor gets taken down, though. Should be using Overload a bit more. Owie. Nemesis snipers, trying to counter-snipe Nemesis snipers, and there are 2 of them, and here we have our first instance of Stasis, and as you can see, incredibly easy headshots. When an enemy is in Stasis, shot again. I will finally realize that he is there and start faking him, just peeking for a moment, having him waste his shot, and then going after him. I wanted to wait for my shield to fully recharge. So here we go, and that's really how you take out Nemesis snipers. Just, if you want to avoid their shots, just peek out for a second, wait for them to shoot you, and then counter him. I'm hoping that my drone will coax him from cover. Drones are far less effective at coaxing enemies from cover when they have the rocket, because they tend to use the rocket rather than the shock, and the shock is what stuns people. So something to keep in mind, you're really sacrificing utility for long-range damage and armor-piercing capability. So this will be a pretty short video. The next video will show more combat and the boss fight of the mission. Sorry that I've been facing so much Cerberus lately, but when you face Reapers, those are generally plot missions, and I've been trying to sort of do side quests and some other stuff rather than just continuing with the main plot. But hopefully we'll be facing Reapers again soon, and Reaper enemies. They are certainly a lot harder to kill than Cerberus for the most part, at least in my opinion. Probably depends on your class. Ah, turret. And another issue with me with Sabotage is I use the chance to use it comes up so infrequently that I often just forget to even use it. Here's an example where I think I forget to use it and I instead focus on sniping people. Oh no, actually I do remember to use it. That must be later then. And again, just going for that backpack, it's an easy kill on engineers when you can. I'm taking out the Phalanx pistol in preparation to kill the turret, though because I'm having trouble keeping Sabotage up on it to take out targets because of the short duration and long cooldown. But I think I changed my mind in a moment. I kind of like to just weaken the turret a bit, and then sabotage it, and then have just the regular troops destroy it for me, and then go after them. Miss, miss, miss. Also, a quick shout out to Stardusk. He questioned why I use such heavy loadouts, and thus had longer cooldowns on my abilities, and he was wondering how many powers I can actually really get out with such long cooldowns. But I would like to point out that the video he was referring to was one of the Tuchanka videos when I was facing the Reapers near the end, and was using the Grawl Spike Thrower and the Incisor Sniper Rifle. And the reason I was using a combination of such heavy weapons was because I just happened to find the Grawl Spike Thrower on that mission where I already had the Incisor in my loadout. And I generally, in a mission, will just use whatever I find, regardless of the composition or how poor it is. And as you guys have probably seen, and as I've complained, it has bitten me in the ass a number of times and made many fights more difficult than they needed to be. But that's fine, it doesn't really matter. This isn't super serious business or anything. As long as I can get the job done, I don't really care. And I really don't think that I have in any video had extremely long cooldowns. I don't think I've ever had cooldowns longer than maybe 6 seconds. 8 at the absolute most, and I think that's very rare if that's ever happened. If it's ever happened, I don't know. I really don't pay too much attention to it. As you guys see, I really don't spam powers. I just use them when I feel it's advantageous, and anytime when something is cooling down, I'm either behind cover or I'm shooting. So I really have yet to ever feel like I was waiting on the global cooldown to do something for the most part. If anything, I spend far more time waiting for shields to regenerate than waiting on the global cooldown. And I should also point out that I was sure to, at the very beginning of the game, always quickly spec into recharge reduction for powers and also weight reduction in my passive. So just some things to keep in mind. You know, if your play style differs, that's totally fine, but for me, I really don't mind having wonky loadout compositions just because I'm experimenting, I'm trying out different things. I'm not trying to win a medal or anything as most effective engineer in the world. So, but I thank him for commenting and asking those questions, because maybe some of you guys out there were also wondering why I'm not playing as optimally as I could be on Insanity. But this is coming to a close. One other thing I'd like to point out is I'm now using the security helmet, which does about 5% increase on health and 5% increase on security, and I'm only using it because I wanted to see what it looked like aesthetically. I do not care about the bonuses. It doesn't matter to me. I don't rely on them. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and